Okay, this video is called How Does the Parable of the Little Dutch Boy Relate to Veganism? So the little Dutch boy lived in Holland, and one day he was walking along by the dikes and there was a big storm, and it just rained and rained and rained, and then he saw water leaking through the dike. And he ran over there and put his finger in it, but it was so windy when he yelled out for help, no one could hear him. And it kept raining all night long, and he kept his finger in the hole in the dike all night long until the next day one of the dike builder men came and patched the leak. Okay, so the little Dutch boy saved Holland. Okay, now what does this have to do with veganism? Well, the dike, in a metaphorical sense here, can represent like the facade of the Mediterranean paleo, keto, carnivore, low carb diets. They've sort of been hanging on, with the help of over promotion of fake information, to try to pretend that those are reasonable diets for human beings. And they're sort of becoming overwhelmed with the flood of information that just shows, the whole food, plant-based vegan diet's 1,000 times better than any of those stupid diets. They're all a big joke. So what I'm saying is, that's the basic metaphor, okay? That there's a little crack and they're trying to hold back. But then the secondary level of taking that metaphor to a higher level is it a coincidence that Saladino and Mercola all of a sudden are promoting fruits? Is it a coincidence that this is time just to go with when this appeal stuff is being put on the fruits? And we don't even know for sure which ones. We know avocados and apples and probably a bunch of other ones, but it's not clear yet. Okay, and they're not even always labeled apparently, and it is allowed in organics and grass. Okay, so what am I saying? Appeal has the potential to make fruits as unhealthy as meat, oil, and processed food. If it really is put on there and it does all the things that the chem sheets say it does, then it probably will. And so then why did this all happen? Is it just something done by, the meat and processed food industries so that when research studies are done, plant foods don't just dominate in success for good health? Is it something that's done, for that business point of view? Actually, unfortunately, I think it's more than that. I actually think, or is it something innocent? Is it something just innocent that was done to prevent mold from growing on the produce, and therefore it has longer shelf life and it's more profitable for the company? So is it just for money? Is it just for protecting the meat processed food industries? Or the third possibility, and actually unfortunately the one I think is most likely, I used to think that, maybe all this stuff like F- in the water, the atrazine on the GMO corn, the glyphosate on the GMO soy. I used to think, maybe corporations just don't care if all the, ignoramus people eat this stuff and get sick. Who cares? Keep them fat and cognitively impaired and make more money off them that way. But there was a way for the smart person to have a safe path. You could be a low-fat, low-sodium vegan, get your exercise, sunshine, manage your relationships, all that stuff, and be okay. And what I'm sort of saying now is appeal is removing that option of eating fruits and potentially some vegetables as well to keep your health. And it almost seems to me this is part of a thing to control, like population, lowering it, controlling it. So unfortunately, that's what I think it is. And so I just thought this was a playful metaphor for what is being done. You put appeal in the crack, and all of a sudden, you can still hold off the information about the reality of how humans are made to eat the low-fat, low-sodium vegan diet. That's it.